Let's talk to aviation expert Alex Macheras now. And looking, I guess you can tell an awful lot, Alex, from just that film of what was really an abortive takeoff.
Well, the takeoff roll did commence, as you can see, and looking at the footage, we are looking at a 787 Dreamliner. There are over 1,100 of these in service all over the world. They've been in service for 15 years, and until yesterday, they'd never been involved in an accident of this kind. No fatalities associated with the aircraft. We're looking at footage of an aircraft that gets airborne. They initiate the takeoff roll. It rotates, as you can see on the screen there, but then it struggles to gain altitude. And of course, the focus on the investigation will be why. Why could this aircraft not gain height in the seconds that it was airborne? And the whole flight, sadly, only lasted a matter of seconds. The flight crew had enough time to communicate to air traffic control a Mayday distress call, and they said no thrust and no lift, basically in simple terms, no power, and the aircraft struggling to gain height. Why? We're still very unsure. The footage does kind of suggest that the aircraft perhaps could have been configured incorrectly in terms of the flaps, which extend the wing and help generate lift that you need on takeoff. But the footage is grainy, and so often it's not what it initially appears, but rather a chain of events that build one upon the other to that final catastrophic outcome, sadly.
Yeah, so it could, as you say, it could be a mechanical failure plus, say, a bird strike, two things at once.
What usually happens, and if we look back at other incidents, what usually happens is it's a contributor, as I say, it's various contributors that happen over the course of perhaps even an hour, perhaps a decision taken based on a development in the cockpit, based on a maintenance issue, and so on and so on. And this is more likely to be the picture than just, for example, it's A or B or C. But you know, thankfully, something like this is so incredibly rare. This is why it goes so viral and it's generated such headlines. But it's just not what we would expect in 2025 to have such loss of life on an aircraft with such proven safety record.
You say it's rare, and indeed there was a year about 10 years ago when we had no deaths at all around the world in commercial aviation, which was incredible. However, we just saw that crash over Washington, D.C., which was shocking. We've seen the Boeing MAX series were still flying, even though they were clearly dangerous, and there were two crashes there. Is somebody cutting corners on safety?
Well, Boeing haven't been able to catch a break in headlines because of the recent quality control issues, and that's why they've slowed down production and have slowed down deliveries to new deliveries to airlines, because they've had to do leadership changes and get their act together. But this aircraft wasn't brand new. It has been in service with Air India for 11 years. And so I think it's less linked with Boeing's recent quality issues and perhaps more, as I said, with different contributors. If you think every day, Jeremy, every day there are over 120,000 flights globally. And thankfully, it is almost 100% success rate in terms of safety, because air travel is the safest form of transport. It's safer than being in an elevator. It's just awful, and that doesn't diminish when something as awful as yesterday takes place.
Thank you very much, Alex, for talking to us. It is going to change our view of air travel, isn't it? Particularly, I think, Gen Z, who haven't been seeing plane crash headlines.
Yeah, it shouldn't for the reasons just discussed. But
it's not how the brain... So what we're saying, it shouldn't. That's not how our brains work.
Well, I get that, but we have to try and be as rational as we can in the face of irrational thoughts, I guess. I mean, yes, there is a risk. Look, that we might... This ceiling might just collapse on us and kill us, which is maybe more likely than dying in a plane crash.
Yeah, maybe so.
Life is full of risks.
Yeah, leaving your house is riskier than...
The reason it's scary...
Driving a car is more dangerous.
Driving to the airport is infinitely more dangerous than even getting
But the reason it's scary is you feel like you've got... Because you're stuck while it's happening for a while.
It's a horrible...
In a plane crash, in a car crash, it's immediate, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if we discover this is pilot error, whether we will move swiftly towards pilotless planes.
Absolutely not.